Podcast pregame. Lots to talk about, lots to get into, lots to unpack, lots to dissect. And you'll hear it later on. I would say around 2 o'clock today, as once I'm done here, I got to get back, set up, record, etc. Just to be safe between 2 and 3 p.m. So you'll get that. And obviously, the pregame reason why I'm here is to give you an agenda as to what to expect here on the latest podcast, which is going to come at you later today. And yeah, there is quite a bit to get into, a lot that has happened over the weekend in all the sports. You have a season that's going to raise the curtain tomorrow in the NBA, NHL 2 weeks in with a couple of surprises, on top of the baseball, which we all know. Fishing Angel, good morning to you. Welcome. The baseball, which I'll start off with in a minute. Then you have all the NFL. If you're a Giant fan, how the hell did you sleep last night? I don't even know. And are the Colts for real? I mean, seriously, 6-1. And also all the college football, which you have so much to unpack, so much to uncover, so much to get into with that. I mean, oof. So that's what the podcast is going to be like. And when we take a look at the big picture here, as far as baseball tonight at Game 7, which I'm looking forward to, those are the two best words in sports. And to me, it's still a coin flip. I understand that the Blue Jays came back from 2-0 deficits and 3-2 deficits and now put themselves in a position where they are going to pitch tonight. As a matter of fact, who are they pitching tonight? I should know this off the top of my head. Who pitched Game 3? George Kirby. And your boy's drawing blanks. I'm still half asleep. What is happening? Who pitched Game 3? Scherzer pitched 4. Obviously, Trey Savage pitched last night. Kevin Gossman. Cole. 1-2, my man. I can't believe I cannot remember who in the hell is pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays. That is a terrible job on my part, off the top of my head. It'll come to me. I do know that George Kirby's pitching for the Blue Jays, for the Mariners. I'm still half asleep, people. Let's go. Wake up. I would expect it to be Michigan won, so I'm dang happy. Yeah, absolutely. Beating Washington. For this game tonight, I couldn't even tell you who's going to win. I think in my gut it's going to be the Blue Jays. And why not? They're at home. They have come from behind pretty much all series long. And listen, would I be surprised Seattle wins tonight? Absolutely not. But yeah, the momentum is certainly on their side. And you know that everybody up in the Rogers Center is going to be, they're going to try to blow the roof off. If the roof isn't open tonight, and I don't think it would be, it's a night game. Who knows what the temperature will be like there come game time. But I would expect it to be thrilling. I would expect it to be exciting. It's what baseball needed, because if the Mariners would have won last night, that would have been fine. But you literally wouldn't have, you would have had a whole week without baseball. So, yeah, no, he pitched Game 4. And wait, won't tell me on CBS Sports app who's pitching for the Blue Jays. Come on, JAYREELZ. I mean, what is happening here? Who pitched Game 3? It'll come to me. I know it'll come to me. If anything, Cole, if you go to the box score for Game 3, and I can't believe I can't even think about this right now. So that's a terrible job on my part. But you know me, I always hold myself accountable. So for those watching for the first time or the replay, whatever, to be like, JAYREELZ, how do you not know that? What are you, nuts? Yeah, if you go to the box score, because of course I'm on my phone, I can't do that. If I do that, I'll probably either disconnect or just suspend the call. And I'm glad that the game's on Fox tonight, because that is a disaster. Can I talk about that too? How are these games not on regular Fox? You got to go to Fox Sports 1? That is terrible. I mean, how do you expect a sports fan to be serious about baseball when you can't even find the damn thing when it should have been automatic? I understand you want to put maybe games 3 and 4 on FS1 and have games 1 and 2 on Fox. All right. Why can't you have them on both? But I understand people are not going to go to Fox Sports 1 if it's going to be on regular Fox. But I think tonight's game is going to be on both Fox and Fox Sports 1. But that is a disaster. It's not announced. It says probable pitchers. All right. Thank you, Fishing Angel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's why I wasn't thinking Shane Bieber. Because he got traded at the trade deadline. And I don't know why. And I even remember last night, Addison Barger in this postgame talked about having Bieber on the mound tonight. He kind of scares me. And I would trust George Kirby over Bieber, but who knows? Fishing Angel, thank you, thank you, thank you. Shane Bieber. Why was I drawing blanks on that? But I think tonight's game is going to be fascinating. I think it's going to be a very good game. Watch the Blue Jays, as they have done, other than the first 2 games in the series, but since Game 3, have pretty much led the offensive attack. And listen, one more time, I would think the Blue Jays are going to win. Would I be surprised if they don't? No. And certainly wouldn't be surprised if the Mariners win, but I guess that's the same thing, right? But I'm looking forward to it. Forget about the 2 Monday night games. I know you have Tampa, Detroit, which I know you guys, Fishing Angel and Cole, will be on top of, and rightfully so. But yeah, I'm all about the baseball tonight. And then the nightcap is Houston and Seattle. I could care less. I just looked it up and said Shane Bieber. I helped her download a sports app yesterday, and now she's showing me what's that. Hey, I tell you, what would we do without the women in our lives? That's the bottom line. They got to get their credit. They got to get their just due. Bio, my man, congrats. 4 more. 4 more to go. And yes, we got to talk about your comments there, Bio, with Ohtani being better than Ruth. And listen, how could you knock Shohei? I mean, please. Lines tonight, but too many injuries. Yeah. I would think they'd win. I know Tampa, I can see them. They're due to lose. I mean, they did lose a couple weeks ago to Philly. I get that. But, yeah, I think, I don't know. It's tricky. Because Seattle won the first 2 games in Toronto, and obviously the momentum is on the Blue Jays side right now, I just like the Blue Jays to win tonight. So, 32-24 Lions. Yeah, I can see that. That's the one thing about Tampa, the Buccaneers, that if I'm a Buccaneer fan, is your coach. His clock management has always been putrid. There's a lot of things that you'd have to really question when it comes to Todd Bowles. Defensive coordinator is fantastic, but mainly his clock management. Not only that, but also his play calling. Sometimes he's the type of guy where it's 4th and 4 at the, let's just say, at the Lions 38, and he's punting. Like, what are we doing? 4th and 4 to 38? Go for that. Maybe he's learned this year. Who knows? But yeah, I think the Blue Jays will win tonight too. I almost feel like they'd burn the place down if they don't. But hey, Seattle. And I got news for you. Seattle loses tonight, that'd be a bitter loss. If it's in excruciating fashion, that's one thing. But if you're up 2-0 and 3-2, you got to find a way to win that series, despite you being the road team now, because you won the first 2 in Toronto. Why can't you win one of these last 2? So that'd be a bitter pill. We shall see. Looking forward to it. Now, as far as the NFL goes, to me, there's 2 storylines from yesterday. The first one I'm going to say is the Colts. Is this team for real? I mean, Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Shane Steichen, he's the head coach. They beat the Chargers. They're 6-1. Yes, Mr. Angel? Yeah, I feel the same way. How I look at this Colt team is I still need to see more. Kind of like the Brewers, right? In baseball, which I guess I have to get to them in a little bit. I kind of wanted to flip-flop there. Instead of sticking with the baseball, I wanted to go to the NFL because the 2 things I want to talk about here. I don't know and they play a soft schedule. The Colts are probably going to have a big season. They're probably going to win 11, maybe 12 games this year. But am I going to take them seriously? Let me see come January. Now, let me see them beat a big team. And people are going to say, oh, they beat Denver this year. Well, if it wasn't for the penalty that the Broncos with the whole, I forgot what the infraction on having somebody climb the back of, I don't even think they climbed the back. I think they just used the offensive player to try to block that extra point, or excuse me, to try to block that field goal. And therefore, what happened was that they, instead of kicking a 60-yard field goal, it was a 45-yarder, and then they actually kicked it to win. So, yeah, how I look at it is that, all right, it's a win. You can't throw it back, but if it wasn't for that call, that would have been a loss. And that was a good win yesterday on the road against the Chargers. Not that the Chargers are world beaters, but okay. And I still need to see more. So if you're going to ask me, are they for real? Well, listen, they're 6-1. They are what their record says they are. But am I looking at this team like, oh, yeah, they're going to go to an AFC Championship game? And as it is right now, 6-1. Who are the teams that are 5-2? Chiefs are 4-3. Well, the Broncos are 5-2. And obviously they have a tiebreaker over them. Jacksonville lost. I mean, listen, the Colts could have the best record in the sport, depending on what happens tonight in Detroit. If Tampa does beat the Lions. Cole, Seattle look gassed. Yeah, travel. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. 30-10, huh, Fishing Angel? They're going to shut down that Tampa offense. All right, hey. Oh, and shout out to Doug Martin, the running back there, Boise State. His family put out a statement saying that he died, and he was a good little running back, too. Sad to hear that. Yeah, maybe Seattle's cooked, and Logan Gilbert did not. Oh, he didn't have it last night. 4 innings, 7 hits. Yeah, not good. And Vladdy with another home run. So, yeah, I don't know about the Colts. I'm going all over the map here. The Colts, I don't know. I gotta believe it when I see it when it's really crunch time. And then the other thing is too, man, and I was at a sports bar yesterday afternoon for the 4 o'clock games, and I was watching the Giants. Flat out the monster game tonight. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked there, Cole. But how did the Giants lose that game yesterday is beyond me. They were up 19-0 going into the fourth quarter, and Brian Daboll's an idiot. First guess, 19-0, and I understand his kicker missed an extra point on the previous score when it was 13-0, but he did make one earlier. Why are you going for 2 there? Why are you chasing points up 19-0? You're already 3 scores ahead. You don't need to go for 2 there. Go for 1, 20-0. That means the Broncos would have to get 3 touchdowns and an extra point. Or 3 extra points when you think about it. But yes, you don't chase points there. And people can say, well, what do you know, JAYREELZ? You're not a coach. You've never been in the NFL. No, it's just common sense. I mean, what are we doing? And first guess, I was there with a Giant fan. Shout out to Sarah Bentham. I said, what are we? Well, I mean, come on. Extra point, that's it. And then as it was, as the Broncos made it 19-8, the Giants scored a touchdown, and they kicked the extra point to make it 26-8. Then let alone he misses the extra point at 32-30. And something told me he was going to miss that too. But it wouldn't have mattered if he would have made the extra point at 19-0. Oh. And Daboll, I don't know, man. I know they got that lucky touchdown too to make it 19-0. And I mean, oh, jeez. And I'm not a Giant fan, as you know, but that loss, you didn't sleep a wink last night. Red Wings won. Yes, they beat Edmonton. What was it, 4-3, I think it was? Or 4-2? No, I think it was 4-3. Yeah, and that was the Edmonton, and they were just finished playing here in New York. They played the Rangers Tuesday, Islanders Thursday, and then the Devils Saturday. And then, of course, they had a quick turnaround there in your neck of the woods. So that was a big win there by the Wings. Skubal, yeah, I know. Let me tell you something. I'm glad you bring this up, Cole. 10 years, $400 million. Number one, I don't think any pitcher is going to get that type of money unless your name is Paul Skeens. Skeens is what, 24 years old? Skubal, I believe, is going to be 29. Still young. But there's no way any pitcher is going to get a 10-year, $40 million contract. Unless your name is Sandy Koufax or Randy Johnson. And and I don't care, Scott Boras, he could go into the room with PowerPoint presentations and a stupid binder to bring up all the stats as to why he's worth this much and metrics, etc. Here's the one question that I have for Scott Boras. Scott, Game 5 in Seattle, 99 pitches. I understand he threw 101 and struck out Cal Raleigh. Why is he out of the game after the 6th inning? Why? He should have been pitching into the 7th, maybe even into the 8th inning. Oh, you can't do that because the metrics say this, that, and the 3rd. Skubal just blew away Cal Raleigh, 101 miles an hour. And I don't care if that was the last thing you had in the tank. Why would I invest $400 million in a guy that's going to give me just 6 innings in a winner-take-all game? Why? Now, some owner's going to give him the money. I get that. But I'm not trying to hear it. Nope. That guy is going to pitch until his arm falls off. Case closed. We're trying to get to an ALCS. 6 innings? As it was, if he started the 7th inning, who knows if the Mariners would have got that run there when you brought in Kyle Finnegan. This is why your horse, your ace, has to go more than 6 innings. And I don't want to hear, well, he threw 99 and he was gassed. Well, what happened in Cleveland in Game 1 when he threw, I believe he threw 108 pitches or 107, and he went into the 8th inning. And I don't want to hear stressful pitches. The guy was mowing people down. He struck out 7 in a row. His stressful innings were in the 2nd inning when he gave up the double to Naylor, stole 3rd in the sac fly. Yeah, it's as if he got lit up all over the ballpark. Or was in 3-2 counts the whole night. The guy struck out 12 and struck out 7 in a row. Scott Boras, answer that. Oh, he's going to come up with some gibberish, which I wouldn't even buy. But come on. You don't need to be a rocket scientist or a GM or know anything about baseball or know about baseball from an executive level to eye test. I just watched this guy mow down the Mariners. And that's why I laugh when the athletes today, when they look at fans like us, and I said this, go back to the podcast last Monday, I said the same exact thing. So this isn't second guessing, third guessing, or listening to anybody else. This is watching with my own eyes. And the athletes can say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You never pitched in a big game. You never this. No, but I've watched baseball 50 plus years. And that guy who was literally unhittable, why is he getting pulled out of the game? Oh, because he's gassed at 99 pitches when the week before he threw 107 and got into the 8th inning. And those pitches were more stressful than the game in the Game 5. Make it make sense. I could have any of these former players, they could come at me all they want, and I'd still be like, nope, sorry. Did you not see the same game I was watching? Did you not see Skubal just lights out? What are they going to say? Well, no, he wasn't lights out. Nah, nonsense. Give me a break. All right, here we go. Freddie. That's a new name I haven't seen in the room. Getting traded, Tigers are not paying anything. Oh, hell no, they're definitely not going to. And you know what? Cole, I got news for you. I wouldn't pay that either. Would not. There's no way. Freddie, let me see this. Focus inwardly and trust in the sinless. Hey, listen, focus inwardly for sure. and do right by yourself and do right by the people around you. And not only that, that's where you make the world a better place. I agree. And yes, faith in the man upstairs, no doubt. 100%. Oh, it's 5-3. Thank you, Fishing Angel. Yeah, I think that did he tack on an empty netter? After game 5, Tigers are not giving him crazy money. Yep, pulled himself. Yes, exactly. And Hinch, I understand in the post game he said that, oh, well, after the 5th inning, and we looked at each other, and I had a feeling he had one more inning left. Nonsense. If I was the manager, I'd be like, come on, man, you gotta give me the 7th inning. You're at 99 pitches. You're mowing everybody down. But you already know that was a ploy, I'm sure, by Scott Boras to make his client look better because he left that game on a high. But at the same time, what happened in the bottom of the inning? I understand you can't forecast that, you can't predict that, but still, if School was in the game, do you think he's giving up a run there? It's possible. It is. But based on what I watched, I don't know. I just get crazy and I get passionate, and I know that, this is my wheelhouse, but it's one of those things where when you're a big time sports fan, when you've watched baseball for so long and sports, and Cole, Fishing Angel too, Bio if you're still there, all you could do is just watch what's unfold in front of your eyes. And similar to what I just said before about Brian Dable, at 19-0, late in the 3rd quarter, Denver has been shut out. And you mean to tell me you're going to go for 2? Maybe at 12-0. Let's just say if they want to get the 2-point conversion to make it 14-0 because, hey, it's 2 scores. I still couldn't defend it, but I understand a little bit more why. Not 19-0. Was that game over? Absolutely it wasn't, as you saw by the final score. But even then, was that game over 19-0? No. But 20-0, they'd still need 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points to take the lead. I don't know anything about football. Oh, you're not a coach. You've never been on the sidelines. You've never done this. You've never done that. If you played Madden, and I understand it's a video game, you played Madden, you already know you never chase points. Even if it was the situation, let's just say for argument's sake, if that was, let's say Broncos were up 21-19, and it was late 3rd quarter, you still don't chase points then. Why? Think about this. Let's say they kicked the extra point at 21-19. Hear me out, people. 21-19. Late 3rd quarter. If it's late 4th quarter, mid 4th quarter, it's a no-brainer. That I understand. Late 3rd quarter. If they go for 2 and miss it, 21-19, the Broncos go down and score a touchdown. What's the deficit? It's 9 points. 2 scores. If you kick the extra point at 21-19, it's 21-20. So if the Broncos then scored a touchdown, you're down 8. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, you tie the game. That's why you don't chase points unless you absolutely have to. But no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Because the metrics, again, the iPad over the eye test, it says here, no, we have to go for 2 here. Says who? It just aggravates me. That's why if I'm yelling, screaming, whatever, it's just aggravating because, and I'm not even a Giant fan. But what are we doing here? It's simple common sense. And that's why I gave the scenario of 21-19. Because even though people think, well, it's late 3rd quarter, you got to go for 2 there. No, you don't. Because of everything I just laid out for you afterwards. 21-19 with 4 minutes to go, no question. Obviously, 21-19 with 30 seconds to go, no question. 21-19, you want to say early 4th quarter? Let's say if the Giants scored a touchdown, it was 13 minutes to go. I'd still kick the extra point because you still have a whole quarter to go. If it's less than a quarter where possessions are at a premium, like I said, if it was 5, 6, even maybe 7 minutes to go, all right, go for 2 there. Not when you still have a whole quarter to play. Oh, it's just sick. Hinch said that because he can't throw his player under the bus. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. He wasn't. And you could tell if he had true serum, he would have been like, yeah, I wanted to go out there in the 7th inning. But he can't say that. Of course not. Because then his player's not going to have any faith or any trust in him. And that's what sucks about baseball or even sports overall. Because if that was 40, 50 years ago, Earl Weaver or Billy Martin, forget about it. They would have been like, yeah, I wanted my guy to go out there. And again, baseball was much different back then, so it would have been no ifs, ands, buts, maybes about it. Scooble would have pitched until his arm fell off. What the hell is that? Oh, it's a guy walking his dog. I saw a leash. It looked like it was 5 miles long. No, you're absolutely right. And the manager was, I saw the press conference. I saw it the next morning, getting ready for the wedding last Saturday. And yeah, he was definitely despondent. I totally agree. And not because they just lost in a 15-inning game because you wanted to tire. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. And again, it goes back to what I said, not to sound like a broken record. That guy had no stressful innings. That guy was dealing. That guy was on top of his game. That guy was pitching like we would think he's going to be a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. But no, we have to pull him because he left it all out in the field. He gave everything he got. 6 innings? 6. I ain't buying. Brian Dable's holding the Giants back. Bio, that last night was coaching malpractice, not even just with the whole 2-point conversion thing, but how that team folded like a cheap suit. And I get it. The biggest play of that game was that interception by Dart at 26, what was it? 26-16. And right. And here's the other thing, too. If people are going to ask, let's go back to the 2-point conversion thing real quick. Oh, well, Denver converted their 2-point conversions and they had to go for it. Yeah, because they're trailing. So, and even then you could question a little bit because think about this. At 26-13, no, wait. At 26, wait, they scored a 26-8. At 26-14, they didn't have to go for 2 there. They could have kicked the extra point. It would have been 26-15. They were still within 2 scores. I understand 10 and 11 is better because you can kick a field goal if you need to. But to me, that's unnecessary because how I look at it is that if you kick the extra point there at 26-14, your 2 scores where you're still a field goal, touchdown, I understand 2-point conversion, but let's say they missed the extra point there. They missed the 2-point conversion there. 26-14. Now you need 2 touchdowns to get back. So you got to pick and choose. And yes, I understand 26-8 or it was 19-8. And even then I questioned it at first. It was like 19-6. They're going for 2 here. And I get it, to cut it to 11 as opposed to 19-7. So you get a touchdown, 2-point. All right, that I'll understand. 26-14, they didn't need to go for it there. They could have just went for 1. They got the 2. All right. So obviously, Sean Payton is not going to get crucified for that. And then they even went for 2 after that. What was it? 26. No, they kicked the extra point. There was 26-23. So, but yeah. I mean, a lot of these coaches make these stupid decisions, and it's just, yeah, no, I like Dart and I like Scatterboo too. Both of those guys are really good. Although Dart, he makes plays. He's gutty, and yeah, his percentage was terrible yesterday. And he had one of those crazy touchdowns too, where it bounced off of who was it? Was it Wandale Robinson? It went up in the air, and then what's we call it? Caught it for the touchdown. Drawing blanks. Tight end. Theo Johnson. So, it just, yeah, and then how they folded. I mean, defensively and, And then the crazy thing is that they come back down the field, they take the lead, and the kicker, I'm sorry, he should be gone. And he even admitted in the post game, what's his name, Jude, man, I can't pronounce his name. McAtamney, Jude McAtamney. Can't pronounce his name. I watched the Packers game yesterday. All the sports channels up on MB. Yeah, and I know that's and they had to come from behind. Jacoby Brissett. Here's the thing about the Packers. Jordan Love, I like him, but in a big spot, I got to see him deliver. They play Pittsburgh next week, Sunday night, which is going to be interesting. Aaron Rodgers against his former team, so you know they're going to want to win for Rodgers. But I don't fully trust him, and I got news for you. I don't trust Micah Parsons in a big spot either. Because as my cousin, who's a big-time Cowboy fan, and also once upon a time we hosted a radio program on internet radio back in the late 2000s into the 2010s, etc. Micah Parsons could get all the sacks he wants against the Carolina Panthers of the world, against the Arizona Cardinals of the world, but when the money's on the line, does this guy deliver? And think about this. He's played in 4 playoff games. How many sacks do you think he's gotten? Put it this way, the best way to describe it. Micah Parsons has 1 sack more in the postseason than I do, and I don't even play. How about that? 1 sack in 4 games. Need I say more? They didn't look good at all. Yeah, I know they won the game, so right, you can't. And he had 3 sacks. But again, 3 sacks against Arizona. Yeah, let me see this against the Lions in a big spot. Let me see this against. Now they'll be what? Probably a 2 or 3 seed. So they could play probably Washington or. And it's way too early to tell, but yeah. And the answer to beat their defense is to get the ball out fast. Yeah, I'm not sold on the Packers either. Yeah, I was going at it with a guy here on YouTube with his comments. We were talking about, because I mentioned last week about the Steelers before Thursday's podcast. And I know even Brent was getting at me. I don't know what Brent is. Shout out to him. And Miles, where you been? Is Miles the school? Who knows? 14 years old now. But all I put out there was the Steelers like, hey, things are breaking right for them in the AFC if they won that game against the Bengals, which don't even get me started with that. But it was a scenario where, hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. And I understand we're not even anywhere near the halfway point of the year, but hey, you never know. And I wasn't thinking, listen, I didn't think the Steelers were a Super Bowl team prior to the start of the year, even when they were 4-1, none of that. I know Brent was like, oh, you're talking Super Bowl now? I was like, no. I'm just thinking about how if you need breaks to get through a regular season, to get to a point where you set yourselves up to maybe have a good postseason run. Val, what's going on? Yes, your Niners did win. Not impressive, but they did win. But the thing is that what was that? Oh, that was a leaf. I'm trying to get my thoughts here, and I got that. I got people walking their dogs past me. So, what was this? Rams get back on track in London. Yeah, how about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Ooh, that was a stinker. I need to be a sports predictor because I got 3 games right this week. Oh, nice. Did you win any money, or that was just you just happened to predict those games? I'm curious, Fishing Angel. Arizona's quarterback was throwing 5 8-yard passes the whole game. Yeah, now Arizona's offense is. Oh, Fred Warner. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, because they were at home. I can see why, even though he's hurt. Yeah, and listen, I get the Niners. And listen, I know I got to go back to my train of thought. I lost it with that and the dogs. My apologies. I forgot. I was talking Packers. Wait, let me scroll back up. Packers. I lost my train of thought, guys. My apologies. Yeah, but I'm not throwing the Packers either. Oh, wait, it's coming to me. Oh, yeah, I was going at it with people, with the Steelers and all that. So, yeah, I don't think the Steelers are going to Super Bowl by any means, number one. Tatsuya, what's happening? Oh, yeah, just killed the Giants shortly. And Brian Dable, why was he going for 2 at 19-0? Oh, my God. He should be fired. He shouldn't have got on the plane after that. That's coaching malpractice big time. Yeah, so Steelers. I know they're not going to Super Bowl. I know Brent was getting at me a little bit. Hey, talking Super Bowl now. And somebody else was saying the same thing. It's like, no, these are the good teams in football. And he listed who those good teams are. And one of them he mentioned was the Colts. And I'm like, I'm not ready to anoint them anything just yet. And it's not because Daniel Jones is the quarterback, but no. They could be, put it this way, the Colts could be 16-1. I still wouldn't trust them in the playoffs. Absolutely not. Did we see what happened with the Brewers? Best record in the National League. Oh, they're a complete team. Oh, they have a good bullpen. Oh, they have a solid offense. Oh, they're one of the best defensive metric teams in the sport, blah, blah, blah. What did that get them? A big, giant Swiffer duster out of the postseason. And yes, I know that the Dodgers are a juggernaut. And yes, I know the Dodgers are at their peak right this very moment. But I was never, ever sold on the Brewers. And the same could be said for the Colts. So let the Colts have a big year. Let them, they're not going to go 16-1, but yeah, let them go 14-3. Let them have a 1 seed. Roll out the red carpet. Have at it. Yes, we want to win for Jim Irsay. Even better. I hope that's the case. But come on. Colts ain't fooling anybody, Jack. They're not fooling me. And until they win an AFC Championship game and get to a Super Bowl, and maybe even then, I'll believe. Not now. Yeah, let me scroll back here. Oh, is that right, Colts? He predicted them to you? Oh, that's funny. Yes, your boy Kittle was back there, Val. I'm sure you're happy. Oh, Giants. I know. I listen. I am not a Giant fan. I'm still sick even talking about it. Ugh. Yep. Warriors Lakers tomorrow. No LeBron though. Oh, just for this L3 right now. Good for you. Now, Fishing Angel, if you could predict the winning Powerball numbers, because I think Powerball is 600 some odd million tonight, isn't it? Oh, wouldn't that be great? Sharks haven't won a game yet. They're the only team to not win, by the way. They'll be all right, Val. We talked about that before. Knew the 49ers are going to win. Red Wings 5 in a row, best record. Yeah. And you got a few surprises there. Well, most points. Yeah, they're tied with the now the Hurricanes. You want to talk about a team to believe? 5-0. They got those big time acquisitions in the offseason. Now listen, I probably believe them more than some of I probably believe in them, the Carolina Hurricanes, more than I would believe in the Brewers this past year and obviously the Colts. But Frederick Anderson scares the hell out of me. Their goaltender. The Hurricanes have put up big years these last few years, and they haven't gone to a final. This could be the year, though. Dylan Larkin looks like a superstar. Yeah, he had a big game yesterday. I did see that. Aaron Rodgers, he could beat the Packers Sunday. I think he could, Val, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Sunday night game, I'm sure after that loss there to Cincinnati and they have a mini bye, considering that was Thursday, yeah, I can see them regrouping. And they beat Jordan Love in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. Now, what does that mean for this year? Not much, but I'm sure they could probably break out the tape then. The thing about Love is that he's just too nonchalant at the position. To me, he's like Robinson Cano at quarterback, if you've ever watched him play. Like, everything is effortless. Everything is just like, not to say he has to be frantic and throw fastballs and zip balls, threading needles and things of that nature. But yeah, to me, he's just too laissez-faire. Thank you, Val. Appreciate that. I hope so. More losses for Green Bay, the better. And what are they now? 4-1-1? Yeah. Yeah, because they had their bye the same week as Pittsburgh. So yeah. So that's what I got. I got to do my over-unders. NBA preview tomorrow. Yeah, I got a lot of content. I got a lot to edit. Yeah, Dolphins, I know, between Tua's comments and yesterday, they got 31-6 in Cleveland. And by the way, I know, Cole, you've been on top of this, but if you haven't watched my 2 sports history lessons over the weekend, I went to the former site at Yankee Stadium talking about the 03 ALCS Game 7, Yankees-Red Sox, which was one of the great games I've ever watched. And then yesterday, I released how Reggie Jackson became Mr. October, which was 48 years to the day on Saturday, October 18th, 1977, where he hit the 3 homers on 3 consecutive pitches to win the not only World Series, but the MVP. So I got those 2 things on the channel, so definitely check that out. Like, send it to your friends, have as many people on board as possible to watch. Dolphins suck, the head coach. Yeah, I know. He's had to overcome a lot. But yeah, it looks like his days are numbered there. And no surprise. And the GM they got to get out too, Chris Greer. And their owner's 85 years old. I mean, that's a mess in Miami. Absolute mess. But yes, I'll talk a little bit of hockey too today. And I didn't touch on the college football. Man, that to me, what happened in college football over this weekend is a podcast to itself. I mean, think about this. Billy Napier gets fired in Florida. Indiana extends Kurt Signetti 8 years, $93 million. And still, I understand. Talk about a team. I got to see it to believe it. And all right, they beat Oregon. I get it. But they give Signetti all that money, and they are not a football powerhouse or school. Now, could this be the beginning of them turning into a very reputable program to where they could get players to go there? It's possible, but I don't know. Then you had all the losses there. LSU, Vandy, Tennessee losing to Alabama, Ole Miss losing to Georgia, USC losing to Notre Dame, Louisville beating Miami. I mean, you had a crazy, oh my goodness, crazy college football weekend. Wait, didn't Oklahoma lose? No, it's Nebraska that lost. Yeah, Nebraska. I mean, crazy weekend. Dolphins can't win. I think their quarterback has too many concussions previously. I don't know if that's anything to do with his play. Yeah, they're just terrible. And Tua's not a good quarterback. I hate to say it. Tua is the perfect system quarterback to where he can't throw the deep ball. He is small in stature, so he's a target to get demolished. And yeah, he just doesn't have a big arm. He can't throw a deep ball though, but he doesn't have a big arm. To me, he's like Jalen Hurts, although Jalen Hurts is way better. So I'm not trying to compare Tua to Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts threw a couple of nice deep balls there yesterday, but his throws can't break a pane of glass. And that's not to say that, you have to break a pane of glass in order to throw a football in the NFL. Well, when you think about the arms that are in the league, do I even need to go through the names? But yeah, Mike McDaniel, yeah, he's the quirky one, that's for sure. Head coach and a quarterback is not good, and his best weapon is hurt. Defense, yeah. Yeah, Dolphins, they definitely need a reboot. And they gave Tua all that money, so it's not like he's going anywhere. And Tyreek Hill's going to be out at least probably till the middle of next year. So yeah, it is definitely not looking good. And yes, Warriors tomorrow. NBA, I'll talk about that. And yeah, so I got obviously the podcast pregame, a lot of baseball. Well, not a lot, but and I don't know if Bio's still here, but I know the whole Otani talk, best player of the generation, etc., better than Babe Ruth. Obviously, I was not around for Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth saved baseball. Is Ohtani going to save baseball? I don't think so. Nick Saban back to the Dolphins? Yeah, so he can leave a year after that. Now, if he goes back to the Dolphins, I don't think he's going to coach. I'd be shocked. Tyreek Hill, brutal injury, and a head coach never knows what he wants. Yeah. But, where was I going with that? I just said something, I'd be shocked. As I gather my thoughts again. Wait, talking about Warriors, Lakers, Ohtani. Yeah, he did not save baseball, number one, where Ruth did. Ruth was out homering teams when he played. And to me, this is the biggest thing right now. If everybody wants to see Ohtani, and last year the ratings were good, but a lot of that was Yankees, Dodgers. Let me see baseball do minimum 15 million people to watch these World Series games against Seattle or Toronto. And if they're watching just to see Ohtani, if baseball's getting 9 million, 10 million, that's not good. Baseball should be getting for a World Series, especially with the Dodgers trying to go back to back and with Ohtani on the team, there should be 15 million people watching, minimum. Anything less than that, nobody cares. Nobody wants to watch baseball, even if it is Ohtani. So if Ohtani's going to save baseball this go around, the ratings have to be through the roof. And for baseball, I mean, think about this. Now, we're going back 50 years, which I know the anniversary is coming up to that. And the Carlton Fisk. Do you know the rating for that game? That was game 6, Cincinnati in Boston. The rating for that game was 75 million people. The last time baseball got a rating anything close to that in a World Series setting was 2016, Cubs, Indians. Why? Cubs, 108 years, they have not won a World Series. And the Indians, they haven't won since 1948. So you had two franchises that were looking to break generational curses. That game drew 40 million. And to really put that in perspective, you ready for this? Do you know that last year's I believe it was the Giants were in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Do you know how many people watched that game? Now, I don't know how many people watched because they probably had it on in the background while everybody's eating dinner because, Dallas plays right there, that 4:25 to 7:30 time slot. So I'm sure people had it on the background, but they weren't watching, or maybe some people watching, et cetera. But this is, again, perspective. 75 million watched Cincinnati, Boston, the Carlton Fisk game. 40 million just 9 years ago watched Game 7 of Cubs, Indians because of the magnitude of those franchises. And a regular season game on Thanksgiving, Cowboys, Giants, drew 44 million people. We know the NFL's bulletproof. We know they are ratings bonanza. It could be Carolina and Jacksonville in the Super Bowl, and it would still get 100 million, and they could play it on the moon 4 a.m. on a Wednesday, and it would still draw that many people. That's why football is bulletproof. That's why they're king. That's why their content is king. And there's no way I could bet however amount of money, not one World Series game with Shohei Ohtani playing in it or even pitching in it is going to get 40 million people. They'd be lucky to get 20 million people on the day he pitches, especially. I want to see the rating for that. And people can say, oh, why are you making it about ratings? Well, if Ohtani is such a magnet and Ohtani, and listen, nobody can knock Ohtani even if he tried. And I'm not trying to knock him here. I'm talking about the sport. But yes, Pistons tomorrow. Cool. But if Ohtani is that much of a transcendent figure, which I believe he is. We haven't seen this since Babe Ruth. But if he's that guy, there should be 15 million people minimum watching this game or watching the series because of what he does at the plate, and even more so when he pitches. We're going to see. You have a dentist appointment to do gums, Val? Oof. Yeah, it's rough. I've had a lot of work. I've had braces. I've had caps, root canals, gum surgery, braces. I've had it all. Teeth extracted. Oh, so I feel for you. Yes, there are 2 NFL games, Val. You have Tampa at Detroit at 7 and Houston at Seattle at 10. Get this shit. NBA plays now, what, 82 games in a season. I want you to guess how many games are on ABC, NBC this season. Well, aren't they starting opening night on NBC and Peacock tomorrow? Oh, for the Pistons. If I had to guess, probably, I know, based on how you're putting that call, I'm going to say none. I'll say 0. Which is a shame. They should get a game or 2 at least. I mean, they're on Amazon Prime. They're on NBC. They're on Peacock. They're on ESPN. They're on ABC. I mean, come on. You can't throw the Piston fans a bone for one game? 1. And if I had to guess, it's probably against the Lakers. Or if it's against a team in the East, then maybe probably the Knicks. That's my guess. 10:23. All right, I'm going to sign off in a few, only so I can get back to the apartment. I got to set up, record, all that good stuff. Obviously, you guys are tremendous. As always, my usual suspects joining. But again, shout out to Miles. Shout out to Brent. Tatsuya, I know you're in the room. Oh, there you go. Happy Diwali to all that celebrates. Yes. Way to go, Tatsuya. Hey, there's Brent. From Walking Penny. Nice. I know Brent and I were going back and forth at it a little bit with the whole nation of Canada rooting for the Blue Jays, where not the case. And no, I totally understand that. And of course, I know Brent getting at me with the Steelers, thinking that, hey, Super Bowl talking week 7. And no, Brent, I didn't think they were going to go to a Super Bowl. And this is prior to Thursday night's game. But as you well know in watching sports, sometimes you need a few breaks along the way. And when you have the Chiefs who are at 500, it's still dangerous, I get it. The Ravens are 1-5. Prior to Thursday night's game, the Bengals were 2-4. The Colts, who are leading the AFC, but do you believe in them? Same for the Jaguars, who stuck up the joint against the Rams yesterday, out in London, I might add. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. If the Steelers are 5-1 and beat the Bengals and have a 3.5 game lead in the division, 4 over the Ravens, who they play twice later in the year, and all they have to look ahead of them in the schedule, albeit week 7, third of the way in, are the Colts. I'd sign up for that. And this is where you get the possibility of a special, or not want to go special, but a big time season. Well, obviously the Steelers flushed that in the toilet, so that goes by the wayside. 4-1. Wait, 4-1? If you're talking about the Steelers, they were 4-1 prior to that. I misunderstood you, Brad. Doing NBA and NBC on Tuesday now, and you get one game on a local channel. Yeah, they should show more. They should have shown more Piston games. I mean, they're going to show the Lakers. They're going to show, probably not going to show the Celtics that much this year. But you're going to see a lot of Lakers. You're going to see a lot of the Western Conference. In the East, you're going to see Eastern Conference games or matchups because not every game is going to be Western Conference, but you're going to see the Bucks. You're going to see some Sixers. Obviously, you're going to see the Knicks. You're still going to get some Celtics despite no Jason Tatum. I'm sure you're going to get some Pacers because they went to a final last year, and even though no Halliburton. So you're going to get some of that, but a lot of that, you're going to see a ton of Denver. You're going to see a ton of the Lakers. You're going to see a ton of OKC. You're going to see a ton of, I would think, Dallas because of Cooper Flag. You're going to see a lot of T-Wolves, Anthony Edwards. So, yeah. 4-1, sorry. What, Steelers? Hey, 4-2 now. It's all good. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the NBA. And I have right now at the top of my head, I already have chosen who my NBA finalists are. It's a weird one, though. Yeah, it's time to go different. What am I going to do? Oh, OKC and the Knicks? I mean, no, I'm not doing that. And not because of my lack of support for the Knicks, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to pick the Knicks to come out of the East because it's weak. And people are going to think OKC is going to repeat because they have the young core and they're on the come up and maybe a dynasty in the making. Nuh-uh, not this guy. I believe that they could be a dynasty in the making, but no, I'm not. I'm not picking Knicks and OKC or OKC and insert Eastern Conference team. We finally got some rain here yesterday. All right, good. I know it had been a minute. I'll call. Yes, good for you. All right, guys. Yeah, I think I'm going to sign off as I get back to my humble abode and get cracking on this podcast. As always, I appreciate you guys. You know that. Thank you so much for stopping by, carving out precious time out of your day. And obviously, if you have any of the last comments, I'll follow up on those as well. But yeah, looking forward to this podcast. It's going to be fun. And yeah, a lot to discuss. Pretty much what I discussed here, but I'll elaborate a little bit more. We got hammered overnight. Yes, you have a good day too, Cole. Got hammered. What, you out partying, Brent? Yes. Brent, you have a good day too, of course, as always. To Fishing Angel, to Tatsuya, to Val, Bio, everybody who jumped on board. I know it was a Freddie Z, Freddie J. Oh, you got rain in your neck of the woods. Yeah, right now it's overcast. Sun's trying to come out. It's in the low 60s, which isn't bad for as we're approaching late October. But yes, my good friends, that's what I have for you. Wednesday live stream, looking forward to it. Of course, the podcast pregame on Thursday, 9:30 a.m. And obviously the latest pod, Apple, Spotify, JAYREELZ.com, of course, here on the channel. In the blood and the DNA, talking sports is birth, as you know. Always coming correct, direct, and in full effect. From the South Bronx, South Beach, South Central, South Pacific, and all points beyond. It's supposed to be 60 today. Nice. Good luck to you today, Cole. 50 degrees. Yeah, that's how it is here, Brent, but it's a little bit warm temperature-wise. So that is what's happening. That is the latest. I've just about caught up on all my comments. I think, Cole, you've sent me some comments earlier this morning. And Brent, I may be off on one. I may have to follow up with you. But, yeah, catching up from the weekend there. But, yeah, be on the lookout for that. And is that another comment? No, be on the lookout for that, as well as the podcast. And I look forward to seeing you all there on Wednesday. I'm starting to have withdrawal from fishing. Ah, yes, you got to get back out there, Cole. Yeah, best of luck in your catch, whatever it is that you may get. The Novice, I'm about to sign off. Go Birds, yes. Big win in Minnesota. Although that touchdown by TJ Hawkinson, I mean, I don't know. The stupid rule. But Dart and Scat didn't deserve that. Yeah, that was bad. Very bad. But the Novice, yes, I'll be back on Wednesday on the next live stream. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your foes, tell your frenemies. You know it. So hop on board. But, yeah, so with that being said, people, let me sign off because, yeah, I got to get cracking on this. The Bears are the 76ers. Yes, the Novice, thank you. Much appreciated. Are the 76ers going to be good this season? I think they'll be good enough, but I don't know if they're going to be good. And the Bears. Yeah, that was, yeah, they're playing pretty well. I got to give it up. That was a good win. Yesterday at home. All right, guys. So that's it. I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys later. Yeah, Maxie will be. Isn't Maxie hurt? I think he's going to miss the start of the year. If I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong on that. I thought I read something about that a couple weeks ago. But see you guys on the flip come Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. You know I'll be up to my eyeballs in content and recording and all that. So let me get cracking. And until then, everybody, on the flip, enjoy your Monday. As always, thank you so much for the support. You know it means a ton. The little engine that keeps watching on here, this podcast, this channel, etc. So until then, people, have a good one.